Welcome to another video. Today we are playing Phantasm Spiral. We got D ranked back to gold, and we don't have to play top tier meta. We can experiment a little bit. Opponent is going first, and they're playing DDDs. We don't have any interaction on their turn, but we do have a pretty nice surprise for our opponent. Let's let them do our combo. Now, one thing about DDDs, they don't usually have negates. They do master every type of summoning. You'll see my opponent has Link summoned, Fusion summoned, XE summoned. Alright, let's take a look at our opponent's board, but it doesn't matter because we're going to go to our battle phase. We're going to end the battle phase, and we're going to evenly matched. Opponent goes down to one single card. They have to banish everything else in their field. We're going to set a goes and match. Now, I'm just testing out different cards in this deck to see what floodgates still work, and so we're trying to goes and match, but I'm not feeling the goes and match, to be honest. We're going to try it out in this game, but it's not really doing anything. A lot of decks play one attribute monster, so, goes and match, it doesn't really do a lot of time. Opponent's not doing much. Let's go straight to battle. Attack over his Abyss King. It is going to activate when it's destroyed. And special summon Super Doom King. Now, one thing about the goes and match that I learned right now is with goes and match on the field, we cannot kaiju our opponent if they don't control a water monster. So that was a bit awkward. We get to use our kaiju. Well, let's just pretend that was on purpose. Opponent's attacking us. Let's use the Ice Bear, make his attack 0. Making our opponent look like a complete fool with DDDs. I'll have the full Phantasm Spiral deck list at the end of the video. I'm going to change it up, take out the goes and matches, make it a little more fun, and you'll see what I ended up playing at the end. If you like this sort of video, give the video a like, give the channel a subscribe. I'll be making more videos with interesting deck lists as I rank back up to gold tier. Opponent trying to imperm our whale. Well, opponent, the whale cannot be impermed because if you target a water monster, he can negate the effect once per turn. Not going to stop him from searching. We get to search for the Sea Stealth attack. That means we could activate the Pacifist field spell from our graveyard if it was there, but it's not there. We need to find it. And opponent isn't going to let us find it because they're going to die. Got him with the Phantasm Dragon. Phantasm is a pretty fun deck. I think so. Plays a lot of normal monsters and quite budget friendly, as you'll see at the end of the video. Alright, let's go on to the next game. Alright, now for a real challenge. Our opponent is going second, but they're playing birds. They're activating Dimension Shifter. Now, Dimension Shifter does not actually interact with our deck at all. We don't care about Dimension Shifter. We don't care about Floodgates. We don't care about Dimension Shifter. Let's set the Sea Stealth attack, activate as soon as we can. If our opponent gives us a token by activating a card effect, we can remove the token from the field to make our spell and traps that are face up on the field not be able to be destroyed by battle. And we can get the token as many times as our opponent activates effects. The token effect is not once per turn. So we actually can keep generating a lot of tokens. So as you'll see here, we're going to tribute in response to the search of the terraforming, making our spell traps unable to be destroyed. And because our opponent activated a card, we get another token. There you go. Phantasm token back on the field. Opponent activating a Flounderies. They're going to use their spell to activate their bird combo. We got a Phantasm Spiral battle though, so we will be able to pop a card. Let's just be patient here. Popping the birds doesn't do much because he's doing all this and still has his normal summon. All this is normal summoning, so opponent's going to keep normal summoning their birds. Do their bird combo, very nice. Shiny Flounderies and Rabina there. And opponent's going straight to the Barrier Statue. Now this is very rude, opponent. Barrier Statue, stopping us from special summoning monsters that aren't wind type. We don't like that. We're going to pop that before he does anything else. Get rid of that Barrier Statue. And opponent is interesting. Yeah, one card your opponent controls to the graveyard instead of tributing. Alright, so opponent does not have any level 6 or higher bird monsters to summon. We're sending a bunch of back row. So let's just get attacking here. Opponent going to use Dogmatic Punishment. We can use Sea Stealth attack to remove our boy from the field, make our spell and traps immune from destruction, And because our opponent activated a card effect, we get our token back. So, opponent targeting our monster, waste of time, doesn't work. Because we summoned a normal monster, we get to search for a Spiral Battle, which means we get to pop. Let's pop his Florandrees. Any next board wins. That's going to let him tribute our cards. We don't want that. Opponent is turtling. He doesn't know how to interact with our Phantasms. His birds don't know what to do. Let's get back to battling. Destroy his Florandrees. Another thing to note with C Stealth Attack on the field, because our Phantasm token is a level 8 water monster, the Stealth Attack actually destroys every monster it attacks. So we don't even have to have higher attack than what we're trying to beat over. Back to our turn, and now we got clear beatdown time. We can equip the Phantasm Spiral Crash, and when we deal damage to an opponent, we get to search our deck for the Phantasm Spiral Dragon and special summon it. Because we summon another monster, we get the Spiral Power, let us negate a monster effect, and opponent is running out of things to do. Pass back to the opponent here. Opponent is going to evenly match. Now, I just misclicked here. I wanted to use C Stealth Attack to remove my Phantasm Spiral Dragon from the field, but I accidentally activated Spiral Battle from the hand. But that's okay. We don't mind evenly matched here. Sure, we lose one of our monsters, but we actually don't even lose him. We C Stealth Attack him away. So I corrected my mistake. I do have to banish down to 2 cards, so I'm going to just keep my C Stealth Attack. And we keep the Phantasm Spiral Dragon. We keep our token. And opponent is got nothing left. They're done for. Showing off the power of Phantasms. A budget deck that can beat pretty powerful decks. Alright. Let's do one more game, and then I'll show off the deck list. Alright. We got the evenly matched in hand. We got Ice Mora. Opponent is going to activate Maxi in response to our Pacific spell. Opponent, I'm sorry, but you're not going to draw any cards here. Let's normal summon our Megalo Smasher. Search for the Spiral Battle. Now we have a face-up pop. And if our opponent wipes our field somehow, we have evenly matched. There is an argument to setting evenly matched here, but I'm a little concerned. Opponents often have a lot of like Harpy's Feather Duster effects, so don't necessarily want to expose the evenly matched to something like that. Opponent activate a card effect, so we get to special summon our token and search. Because our opponent activated the map, we know we want to negate monster effects, so let's negate the effect of this Eaglin. Get that bird negated. A lot of birds on the ladder, so good that this deck is strong against birds. Opponent activating Jack in the hand. So a trick to this is just take the bird that you know they want. They want the Florandrees and Robina, so that's the one we're taking. We don't have a use for it, but opponent doesn't get it. Alright, back to our turn here. Ooh, we draw the Adventure Engine. Now, Adventure Engine, not really budget, but a lot of people have it already. An opponent does not want to see it. Adventure Engine too strong, but really Adventure Engine did not do any work in that game. Alright, let's go on to the deck list. Alright, here is the Phantasmic Floodgates deck list. You'll see I have the Adventure Engine in this deck, but you don't need to run it. It does have a high synergy with this deck list, but I wouldn't say it's 100% necessary. You could replace the Adventure Engine with hand traps or something of that nature. In the extra deck, you'll notice I have a bunch of stuff. Honestly, you don't need to play an extra deck with this deck. It's really just there in case I feel like I want to extend an extra deck. You saw from the gameplay, we didn't use the extra deck at all. You don't need it. In the main deck, trying out 3 copies of Evenly Matched. Only an SR. This card, quite powerful. Although if the opponent can negate it, it's not going to be as strong. So you got to find ways to bait your opponent's negates before you try and use the Evenly Matched to banish their board. Also, it does leave them with 1 card, so you are going to have to find a way to deal with that last thing that they got. We are running 1 Storm Mirror Force. Not sure about the Mirror Force. Opponents have a lot of back row removal. They got the Harpy's Feather Dusters. They got the Lightning Storms. So could replace with the hand trap. The Foolish Barrel Goods can do 2 things in this deck. One thing it can do, which you didn't see in the gameplay, was send Sea Stealth Attack directly to the graveyard. And not Sea Stealth Attack, sorry. Send the Pacifist Field spell directly to graveyard, and then your Sea Stealth Attack can activate your Phantasm Spiral City from the graveyard directly because it's treated as Umi. So that is a little bit of a combo there. The other thing you can do with Foolish is you can send Ice Barrier to the graveyard, and then you can use Ice Barrier to search for any level 5 or higher water monster. That means you can search for an Ice Jade Tremora, you could search for a Citadel Whale, or you could search for a Gameciel, and casually their board. If you have a water monster in the graveyard already, like a Megalo Smasher X, you can actually use the Ice Bear to send a level 5 or higher to the graveyard, and then add your Megalo Smasher back to your hand. You can do the same thing with Water Enchantress, although not really a reason to add Water Enchantress back to hand. Um, but yeah, that's the deck list. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments what you thought. If there's a deck you want to see me play next, let me know. Definitely a bit of a lull right now before they release new cards in a couple weeks. So looking for some unique things to try out while I'm still in gold. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good night.